So, good day everyone. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to use Vagrant on your computer, that is on your Windows operating system. Okay, but before then, I'm going to walk you through how to install Git Bash in your system. Okay, now the reason why I'm walking you through using of Git Bash is because you have command prompt as well, where you can use to interact with your Windows operating system. But due to the fact that ALX is mandating you guys to use the Linux operating system, ALX is working on the Linux operating system. Most of the Linux command cannot actually run on this your command prompt. That's the terminal that comes with with Windows. Okay, this is how you interact with the shell of Windows on the command prompt. If I should you know that ls is used to list the content of any directory that you have. If I should do that, you can see ls is not recognized. Okay, but watch when I do right now. I think I have a directory called document here. You can see it's navigated. cd is used to change directory. It's navigated into document. Meanwhile, this ls command did not work. Not all Linux command can work on this your command prompt. That's why the introduction of Git Bash came in. So Git Bash is just an application that allows developer to use Git on the command line interface, and is also used to run any Linux any Linux command on what. So is in order for you to be able to interact with this your Windows operating system, you can use the Linux command on Git Bash to interact with your Windows operating system on the command line interface. Okay, you know we have the GUI, we have the CLI, but I'm not going to go into that. So let's just dive straight into the topic of today. So you just need to go to this Git. Now, Git is the version control system. Okay, Git is just a version control system that allows developers to track their code changes during development. Okay, like for instance, you're practically I'm sure most of you guys know a game of chess. For instance, chess takes a period of time before they actually finish it. Let's say in the middle of the game, one of the players just decided to probably excuse himself for a water break or something, and meanwhile he doesn't trust the other player, that is his opponent. So what he might just do at that point in time is to take a screen snap of to take a snapshot of the game, so that when he comes back he will compare it. That means he's trying to keep track of where he left the game before going for the water break. Then they will continue, so that it will be well assured that the opponent did not tamper with the game. Same thing is applicable in the programming world, where developers use Git to track whatever changes made during development. If you are building a website, you know there are different stages of building a website. You can't just build the whole website completely. Okay, we have what we call different breakpoints or checkpoints. So there are different terms you can use to it, but for the understanding, just for you to understand, I will use checkpoints, like yeah, let me just call it checkpoints. Okay, breakpoints or something, just like they call it sprints. Okay, it's being broken down. That's your big project. Probably you're building this website now, this website that I have here, this Git website for instance. We have what we call the header, which is just this section at the top here. You can just probably do this. This is like you've broken down this whole thing into different segments, into smaller projects. So now you're keeping track of it. Once you are done with this, you use Git to keep track of it by committing your changes and stuff like that. Okay, we are going to walk through all of that. So the first thing, if you're going to be using Vagrant, okay, I will advise that you download and install these Git on your Windows operating system, so you can use it to start up your Vagrant and then to connect with any operating system you're actually using. So now I'm just going to walk you through how to if you're using Windows, just download for Windows. If you're using Mac, Linux, whichever operating system you're using. So since we're working on Windows, you can just download for Windows by clicking on this inside this monitor. Then I'm sure for your Windows, you are just using what 64-bit. Most Windows operating system out there are what 64-bit. Okay, just click here to download. Okay, I've already downloaded this. I'm not going to download it again. So I have it downloaded. This is it. Although my version is a bit okay, this is version 2.37. My own is 2.37. This is 2.39. But I'm not going to download it since I have it installed. So I'm just going to go to where I have it. So this is my Git. I'm just going to run the executable file to install it. So this is how you go. You just click on next. Use the default. Okay, now this was because I have Git installed before. I had to delete it and reinstall it again. So would you like to install to the folder? Anyways, yes. So now you just need to click on additional icon so that you'll be able to see your Git Bash as an icon here on your desktop. Okay, so you won't have to come here and be looking for Git in all your apps, or probably coming to type here and be looking for Git Bash. Okay, you can just see it on you just see an icon represented on your on your desktop. So just click on next. Don't worry, just click on next. Now the default text editor that comes with Git Bash is this one, Vim. Okay, just use the default. Next. Now here we have what we call branches. I'm sure you must have heard of GitHub. Now Git runs locally. Then GitHub is the remote version of Git. Okay, Git and GitHub they interact, but Git is a local server. Then GitHub is your remote server where you store your projects and everything. Now for this, since you're going to be using Git, I advise that you just override the default branch name by with main. This is the new development. Okay, this is a new development. Before they use master by default. If you let Git to decide for you, Git will use master for your default branch name. But you can use master or you can use main, but preferably I prefer to use main since it's that's the new development now. Everybody wants to upgrade. Okay, so just click inside here just for you to confirm that it is main that is there. So click on next. So for this, use the default, use the Ubuntu Open SSH, use the SLL library. Now for this, you can decide to just use the Windows style, but I prefer to use the Unix style since I'm going to be I'm going to be using the Linux. It's like me using the Unix is my me using Unix style on my Windows. I don't want to use the Windows style. It's going to keep on prompting you with some warning message just to override that. Just check this Unix style, the second option, and use the default for the remaining ones. Okay, next, 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 then install. Okay, so this is just going to take a brief few 1 to 2 minutes before it's installed. Let's just wait for this. Sorry. Okay, almost done. Probably going to skip this, but probably not. So we have the icon here already. You don't need to. You can just deselect this view release note. You don't need to you can just select this launch Git Bash just for it to finish. Now you can see we have this. By default, it's going to take the name. The prompt is going to be like this. That's the name of your system. That's your user and the user of this system, which is Abiolu. That's my name, Abiolu Chetu. Then this slash means that I'm in my I'm in my user home. Sorry, this is not slash. These are tilde. This is tilde sign. Let me just increase this a little bit. Okay, let me zoom. Okay, so this is tilde sign. You can decide to change the preferences. I think the default color for this should be white. I've actually changed the setting before. You can just right click at the top, then go to go to options. Under the option, you can change the look of the foreground. You can change it to the foreground, the background. You can change it to any color that you like. Like me, I'm using a foreground of white, then I'm using a background of black. Okay, that's foreground means my text is white and then my background is what is black. Then you can decide to use your cursor color can be something. You can decide to increase the size of the cursor. You can customize the cursor and stuff like that. So that's just, you can make it look anyhow you want it to look. Okay, like now this my cursor, I made it to be blocked so it can just be what I can see it very well. So this is how it is. This is a block cursor. So now if I'm going to run, when I started, when I ran what ls command, it did not actually run in the what in the command prompt. But if I show ls here, it's going to work because what Git Bash is what is an environment that allows you to what to run any what Linux command. Now ls is going to use to list what's all the content of my directory. Then I can then navigate to document. Okay, I can list the content that I have here and stuff like that. Okay, so that is the first step I want to walk you through. So moving on. So the next step now is for you to, since we are this tutorial is on how to use Vagrant for your ALX projects. I'm sure most of you guys must have been using the sandbox, okay, provided by you on the intranet, okay, which is good. But at a point in time, there might be glitches. You might want to like just work on your own computer offline. You can, once you have VirtualBox and once you have Vagrant installed on your system, you can work offline. So Vagrant is just a tool that is used for managing and building your virtual machine environment. Okay, now the virtual machine that itself that they're talking about is just it's a software, is a virtualization software that allows you to have existing that allow you to run on other operating system on your what on your existing operating system. Like now I'm on Windows operating system. Now the VirtualBox is going to allow me to run any other operating system, including Windows. If I want to run another instance of Windows on Windows, I can use what the VirtualBox. So we need VirtualBox and we need Vagrant. So VirtualBox is what allows our operating system to run on another what operating system, while Vagrant is what is used to what to manage. Okay, Vagrant is what is used to manage and build up and manage what the environment, the virtual machine environment. Okay, that's the environment we have on the virtual machine. So enough of the talk. So let's just go drive. You can go to your favorite browser, and the first thing I want you to install is this for VirtualBox. Don't worry, I'm going to drop this link is going to be provided in the description box below this video. So since we are working on Windows, you can just pick the word Windows host. Like I said, I already downloaded it before. Okay, my version is a bit slow. You can download the latest version, which is version 7.004. Okay, so I'm not going to download this again. I'm just going to work with what I have already here. So I have my VirtualBox. So just open the installation file and then run the installation. Just use the default for all. Okay, you don't need to do anything, just use the default. Okay, yes, install. It's going to take a little while. All right, keep installing. Probably going to skip some of this. Okay, I don't want to start it. You don't need to start it up after install. You just deselect it and then finish. Okay, now the next thing, I already downloaded on Vagrant. Don't worry, I'm still going to show you. So the next thing I want to do is to go to, I'm going to drop the link to Vagrant download site. So since we're working on Windows, you can install it on Linux, you can install it on Mac. Since I'm working on Windows, I'm sure this is for what? For 64 bits. Just click on download here. This is version 2.34 and my own is 2.33. Don't worry about that. So I'm not going to download it. I'm just going to work with what I have before. So I'm just going to what to install this since I have it. So just use the default, okay? Accept, then click on next, then install. Now I want to like introduce you why installing your VirtualBox. Okay, VirtualBox needs what we call Microsoft Virtual Studio or something. You might come across an error while installing your virtual box that says that what you need to install this guy. You need to install this Microsoft Virtual C++ with distributable support, something like that. So I'm going to drop the link to this on the description box, so you can just check it out in case you have an error while installing that one. You need to install what Virtual Studio. Okay, Microsoft Virtual Studio. All right, so that is that. So let's check on this guy whether it has finished installing. So when this finished installing, is going to prompt that it's going to ask you to restart your system. So I'm just going to pause the video. I'm going to stop the video recording now and then probably merge it up later when I continue, when I restarted my system. So let this just finish. It's almost done. Like I said, I'm going to drop out the link to every all these links for you in the description box, so you can easily get where I downloaded anything from. So this is taking a little while, but I'm just going to put some of these sections out, not to waste too much of our time. Okay, it's done. Now it's going to ask me to restart my system. So I'm just going to pause it, stop the recording here for me to restart. So welcome back, guys. So after restarting your system, just for you to be sure that what you installed, you won't see Vagrant here. All you just have, what you just see is this your VirtualBox that you downloaded and the Git Bash that you downloaded earlier on. So if you want to be sure that your Vagrant actually installed on your system, just just click on your start menu and search for, I think, application. Yeah, just go to your setting. No, it's not settings. I'm always forgetting this thing. Just type on installed, I think, installed apps. Yeah, just click on installed apps. You will see all the apps that are installed on your system. Just scroll down to look for Vagrant, just to be sure that the Vagrant was actually installed. If we don't find Vagrant here, that means it's not installed. So I have it here. That means what? It was installed successfully. So now, if since we've downloaded our Git Bash, we've downloaded our VirtualBox, and we've downloaded our Vagrant, now it's time for us to add the Ubuntu. The Ubuntu, I'm going to be adding the Ubuntu 22.4, which is the latest version of Ubuntu. That's the latest times support. Okay, for Ubuntu. That's the Jammy. They call it Jellyfish. Okay. So what you just need to do is to open your Git Bash. Okay. Since just run this, I'm going to drop all the commands on the description box for you. Okay. So once you are in your Git Bash, just to be sure, you have to be in your user home directory. Okay, make sure you are in your user home directory. When I say user home directory, that's this tilde sign. That's what it will show for you. But just to be sure, you can run WPD. That's to print working directory. You can see I'm under users and and this is my user home directory. Okay, I'm the user of this. Okay, or you can just to be sure, just run the cd. Cd will take you home to your user home directory. Once you've done all this, so the next thing I want you to do is to run vagrant box add ubuntu slash jammy 64. So I want to add Ubuntu 22.04, which is called jamming to to Vagrant. That's the next thing I want to do. That means I want to be using my Vagrant to operate on this Ubuntu jamming 64. That's 20.04. So once I do this is going to take a while depending on on your internet connection. This is going to take a while depending on your internet connection. So just wait for it. Once it is blinking, don't do anything. Don't make sure you are connected to the internet. Okay, make sure you are connected to the internet. Okay, for this to work. If you are not connected, it's going to throw an error. Just make sure you are connected to the internet for it to work, to download this what the Ubuntu Jammy 64 on what? On Vagrant. So I'm going to skip all of this, but then I'm going to show you the end results after all. Yeah, this is because, like I said, the version I have is this, but there's a new version of what Vagrant. I'm sure if you downloaded the correct if you downloaded from the link I post in the description box, you are going to have what the latest what version. So we have we have our virtual we have about our Ubuntu 64 Jammy 64 added successfully to the box. That's the 20.04. So the next thing for us to do now is to what? Is to initialize, is to create this our first virtual machine. That is to create this what? This virtual machine is to create our first virtual machine. So the first thing you want to do is to initialize this what? This Ubuntu Jammy 64 with Vagrant. So we are going to run Vagrant init, then what? Ubuntu / Jammy 64. Okay, now this will generate, now running this will generate a vagrant file called Ubuntu Jammy 64. Okay, it's going to create it. You don't have to do this every time. It will create it. Okay, you just have to do this once afterwards, adding the box to with Vagrant. So once you run this, it's going to take a little while for it to initialize. So let's just wait a little while for this to initialize, for that of Vagrant file to initialize, to be created. Now they said Vagrant, this already remove it before running, blah 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 blah. Oh, like I said, I already have this installed before. I already have it installed before, so just give me a minute while I go to where it is to remove it. I think it should be on my this Vagrant file, stock, Vagrant, uh, um, okay, no, it shouldn't be here. It should be on my, it should be here. So let me list. Okay, Vagrant file. Yeah, this is it here. This is it here. Okay, so I need to what? To remove it first, because I had to what? Uninstall this Vagrant and what? Show you the installation process all over again. So I've removed that. So after removing, okay, after removing, come back and what? Run this. You won't get this. You won't get this error. Okay, you won't get this error. That what the Vagrant file already exists in your directory, in this directory. The reason why I'm having this is because what I initially installed Vagrant. I already initially initialized Ubuntu Focal 64. That's the previous version of Ubuntu, which is the 20.04. But now I want to initialize it with this Jammy 64, which is the latest version, which is 20.04. That's why I'm getting the this error that I have to remove the file, then initialize again. Now that I've removed it, I'm going to run the Vagrant. Vagrant. I'm just going to go up init this. So this is going to just wait a minute for it to run. So we have this. They said what a Vagrant file has been placed in this directory. You are now ready to Vagrant up your first virtual environment. So now the next step for you to run is to, so you might skip this step, but this step is essential. If you don't, in order for you to avoid the issue with the latest version of Vagrant, okay, that says that you need to log in before you can use this Vagrant. So this plugin you are installing, you are going to be running as a guest. You are going to be running as a guest. So it's going to be Vagrant plugin install -vbguest. So it won't be prompting for you to enter a username and password when you want to start up your virtual machine. Okay, so once you do this, so it's going to install this vbguest plugin. It will take few minutes depending on your internet connection. So we have it successfully okay, yeah, I have it before. Okay, I have this vagrant I've installed this plugin before, so it uninstalled the previous version and installed the latest version of the plugin for me. So now the next step you need to do is to run vagrant up. This command is used to start up your virtual machine. Okay, once you run vagrant up, it's going to take a little while, okay, for it to bring up your VirtualBox. So it's bringing up your machine. Don't worry, this is normal. So it's booting into the virtual machine. Now there is something, if you might come across an error saying that um yes, you might come across this error saying that not in a hypervisor partitioning. Okay, it is normal, and that is because of your visualization is disabled. Okay, you need to go and enable the visualization for you to run this to start up your virtual machine. And like I was saying, if you get after running your vagrant up, if you get this kind of error, okay, there was an error while executing your VBox manage, okay, a CLI used by vagrants for controlling the VirtualBox. Now this is the error that it got. So this is the the standard error which is coming from here. And it's saying that not in a hypervisor partitioning. This comes because as a result of your visualization being disabled in the BIOS. So all you just need to do is to go to your BIOS mode and enable this virtual, what's it called again? This visualization technology for different. It varies for different system. Okay, if you are I'm using the Lenovo, so you can decide. I'm going to drop the link to this description box, and I'm going to show you how to do that as well. So all you just need to do is to go to settings on your system. Just go to settings, then just look for updates. Just search for updates and security. Windows update settings, advanced mode, blah blah blah. Yeah, this is where you need to go. Sorry about that. So just go to, once you see this, all you just need to do is to go to settings, then go to recovery. Now under the recovery, then you select restart now. So you're going to just click on restart now. Once it has started, it is being restarted from there. Okay, just wait a little while. So this is what you get when you click on restart now. Okay, when you click on restart now, your mouse might not work, your mouse might work. So all you just need to do is to click on troubleshoot. After clicking on troubleshoot, you click on advanced mode, Then you are going to see this what these UEFI framework settings. So click on this, then you are going to then click on what restart. So that is going to boot your system into the BIOS mode. Another way is just to click on restart, then press F10 on your keyboard or press F. It depends on your system. I think some system uses F10 or F9 or F12. Okay, once you are here, all you just need to do is to go to the startup, go to security, then look for visualization. I'm sure you can see, go to security, then look for this visualization. You can see I have this Intel visualization. It is by default, it is off. So all you just need to do is to just turn it off, turn it on back. This is the only thing you need, this Intel visualization technology. Okay, so once you are done, just click on what F10. If your mouse doesn't work, just use your keyboard to navigate. Click on F10, then what save and what configure now. It's going to restart your system and boot back. The issue we're trying to solve earlier on was this error that we get after what's running Vagrant up is because what our Intel visualization technology wasn't enabled by default for us. So we need to go to the BIOS mode and what enable it. So now after your system has booted, so all you just need to do is to come back to open back your Git Bash and then run what Vagrant up. So it's not going to, now it's going to boot successfully into, it's going to start up your virtual machine for you without, and you won't get the same error we got earlier on due to the visualization being disabled. So we'll just wait a little while, put into the virtual machine. You can see it is bringing up the machine. It is checking if this version is up to date because that's the version that's the box that we added. Okay, then it's going to boot into it, and it's going to take a few minutes for it to boot into. So let's just wait a little while. So this is the first time you run on Vagrant up, it's going to install some things by default. It's going to install some packages like the GGC compiler and some other packages by default. You can see here when it came there, it said that what machine has booted. Okay, the VirtualBox gets additional instruction was found, but no tools to rebuild or start them. So that's why it's going to need to build all those packages and install them for you. Don't worry, this. So after everything has been installed correctly without having your internet connection being interrupted in the middle of the way, you're going to get this kind of message towards the end that says that we're restarting your virtual machine to apply all the changes. That's all the applications all the packages that was being downloaded and it has been installed. So it will shut down the virtual machine and then boot it again. So you are going to get this message that the machine has been booted and ready for use. Then you need to check, and this is what you get. Okay, so that means you are going to be running Vagrant from your user home directory every time you want to use Vagrant. Okay, so their Vagrant will took a little while because that's the first time we actually was starting up our VM. Okay, so now that we've started up our VM, the machine has been booted and ready to use. Now we need to use Vagrant to go inside that Ubuntu Jammy 64 that is inside our VM. And the way to do that is to run vagrant SSH. That means you're trying to make a connection between we are trying to use Vagrant to make an SSH connection between that Ubuntu Jammy 64 that is on the virtual machine we just started up. So once you run this, it's going to take a little while for you to you are going to notice a change in the prompt. The prompt will look different. Now this is Windows prompt on Git Bash, and now this is This is what Vagrant at Ubuntu jamming. That is where what you can see they said welcome to Ubuntu 22.04 LTS and the likes of them. You are going to get a memory space of what of 40 gig by default, but you've used 5.8% to install some of those. Now you are logged in as a guest. That maybe that plugin we installed was the Vagrant, for you to run it as what a Vagrant user, okay, as a guest user. So if I should list what is here now, I won't get anything. If I should do pwd, I'm currently in my Vagrant home directory. You can see the prompt is different. Now I'm inside what this I'm currently inside Ubuntu 22.04 on the command line interface using what Vagrant. Okay, now you can check whether some of those things that those packages that was installing was what GEC was part of them. When I run GEC dash version, you can see GEC comes pre-installed on Ubuntu. Okay, you don't need to manually install it. I think VI also comes pre-installed. I'm not so sure, but we are going to check it as well. Yes, VI comes. Let me see. Yeah, this is it. We have a version 8.2. It comes pre-installed. So if I want to like work on a new file now, I'm just going to say vi new file. Okay, that's the name of the file I want to write. Or probably let me just do a C program. Let me just say add.c. For instance, it's going to open up what the VI interface for me. You can see this is how your VI interface is. Escape and quit. Okay, if you want to create a new file, you can just do touch new file. If I should do ls, that's the only file I have here. If you want to make a directory, I'm just going to do mkdir new, and just call it new directory. If I should ls now, I'm going to have what new directory and what new file. You can see the color of file by default is always white, but if it's the directory, it is what it is blue by default. Now you can then navigate into the new file, new directory. You can see now we have what new directory as part of our prompt. Okay, so that's just how to install. This is just how to use what Vagrant on your personal computer. So anytime you want, like now we are inside the Vagrant, okay? If you want to exit, just if you want to go back to your Git Bash, okay, just type exit. It's going to log you out. Okay, it's going to log you out. If you want to go back into the Vagrant, just do Vagrant SSH. Sorry, Vagrant SSH to go back into Vagrant. But mind you, anytime you restart your system, you need to run Vagrant up to start up your virtual machine again. Because this thing, once you restart your system or once you close your system, your Vagrant, that's your virtual machine is going to turn off. So if you want to like use Vagrant back, you need to press run what? If you want to start up your virtual machine, you need to press start up your virtual machine with Vagrant up before you now do Vagrant SSH, so that you can then continue with your any project that you want to do. The reason why I advise people to use this Vagrant is because if you are using your Windows, if you are using your personal computer, there's what we call Betty, which is the Betty linter, which is that's the documentation and coding style that ALS provided for you to write your C program. Okay, that's the syntax they follow in writing a C program. That one is not going to run on Windows operating system. It can only run on Linux or Mac operating system. Since ALX is using Linux, so I advise that you also change to Linux by using Vagrant. This is the first step. Okay, my next video will be another aspect where you just have to go to the Microsoft Office and download and install Ubuntu from there, from your Microsoft store, rather not Office. On how to instead of using Vagrant, you can as well use the Ubuntu on Microsoft Store. So all you just have to go to open your Microsoft Store, your Windows operating system, and then look for Ubuntu. Just type Ubuntu 20.04 since that's the latest version of Ubuntu. So just type Ubuntu, just type Ubuntu. Okay, 22.04, this is it. Okay, that's what latest LTS. Make sure you download what the LTS. You can just what get it and then install it. So I'm going to walk you through this process in my next video. So watch out, stay tuned for that. So until then, so I guess you can have a wonderful day. Before, yeah, just watch out for my next video. I'm going to post everything you need on the description box below. All right, so thank you very much. Until next time. And if you enjoy this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Okay, for more, to stay updated for more videos like this. Thank you very much, guys. Goodbye.